Hey guys,
Hi,
and welcome back to our channel.
Hi.
It is so great having you here. So for those who don't know us, we are the Choi family,
Yes.
and my name is Adelaide,
I'm Isabella. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Yukman.
and we are the Choi family. So thank you so much for joining us. So today we're going to follow on from the last sort of chat show that we had, the family discussion. We're going to get straight into it,
Yes.
and we're going to hit it off with a question of, do you know the phrase of respecting your elders?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know within certain cultures, or it may be a universal thing, where you don't call the older generation by their first name. So what are your thoughts on that, of calling the older generation, like, you know, do you say Jane, or would you say Pete, or would you say Mr. such and such, or would you say, you know, uncle, aunt? Because I know within the Chinese culture, when I got, you know, when we got together, I noticed that you called the older generation by auntie and uncle, and I was like, how many aunties and uncles do you have? And I realised that these people are just not older relatives, they're friends of your parents, aren't they?
Yeah. So, I wouldn't have dreamt of calling my mum's friends by their first name. So, growing up, we were taught to call our friends of the family, friends of my parents, by uncle and auntie. So like Uncle Keith, auntie, whatever.
Winnie.
Auntie Winnie. So I couldn't have imagined calling someone Winnie. But I think as you get older, you kind of, eventually you kind of morph into just the first names.
Is that what you started doing?
I feel,
or do you feel awkward calling them uncle?
Well, no, so the same people I called uncle and auntie, I still call them uncle and auntie.
Oh, okay, got you.
But I'd say that people who are a bit older than me,
Like 10 years old or something.
10 years older now, like, I'd feel as a 42-year-old, it'd be a bit weird calling them uncle.
I hear what you're saying.
I think.
So do you think it has to start from when you were a child, or those sort of early, like, childhood and like teenage, young adulthood years?
Yeah, for us, So after like my 20s or 30s, like gradually, let's say for example, let's say our neighbours. Yeah. Some of them are a bit older than us.
Yeah, some of them are quite a lot older, and
I wouldn't call them now uncle and auntie, I think.
No. Would you call them? Because it's funny actually, because some of them, hey neighbours, if you're watching, some of them, I'd say some of them are maybe 30 years older than us. And would you call them by their first name? So what's the difference? Why have you chosen to not call them even Mr. or Mrs. such and such?
I think for me personally, as I've gotten older, I've just kind of done it less and less.
Okay, got you.
For whatever reason.
No matter how much the age gap is?
I think so, it looks like it,
it seems like it, doesn't it?
Or maybe it's just because my parents' friends, maybe my parents introduced them to me as uncle and auntie.
I was about to say.
Maybe that's why I did it.
I was thinking.
How about yourself?
Because I think sometimes there is that expectation, isn't there? And I think, like, for example, our neighbours, they just, when we asked them what their names were, didn't. I think they didn't tell us, oh, my name is Mr. such and such or Mrs. such and such. They just said their name is Jane or Eileen or whoever. So I think that, it's not a matter of always how we feel, it's how they sort of introduce themselves.
That's true.
Because I feel like with some people there's the expectation, and I've seen that, I think within I don't necessarily want to make it as a cultural thing, but I do think that it can be quite a cultural thing, because within the culture of the church that I grew up in, it was a thing of where we called each other brother and sister. And because if you notice, Isaac, that I call some of the people from my old church brother and sister.
I found it a bit weird. I found it a bit like, they sounded like nuns and monks.
It can. I suppose from the outside it would probably sound a bit odd, but that's what I've always known. I've always known that since since birth, basically, since I could talk. So for me, it's just something that I've always done. But then I do agree with you that, okay, sweetheart. I do agree that over the years, as you get older, you may say it a bit less, but I do think it's the expectation, because do you remember that man that I had a bit of a...
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't impressed. So I won't say what his name is, obviously. Somebody came to my mum's house. I could not remember his name, and he was coming to do some work, but I do remember his face. So I said to him, oh, hi. and he said to me, "My name is Mr. Such and Such. I bought hi alter ada." And it was such a thing where he was really, really not happy that I even said
All you
hi.
said was hi. What's wrong with
All
hi?
I said was hi. I understand formalities of speaking to certain, the older generation, I think they've got a different mindset, so they're not into necessarily the hi. It's good afternoon or good evening, Mr. Such and Such.
But being older doesn't excuse him from being rude, does it?
Yeah, that's true, because he was pretty rude to me. But I was taken aback, and I said, "I'm sorry," and I said, "Hi, Mr." I think I said hi, Mr. Such and Such. And it's all cool. I haven't seen him for absolute years, to be honest with you. But then, yeah, when I look back at that, that was a good, I'd say it was about 20 years ago that it happened. And I look back and I think, gosh, I think that's a bit
much.
Yeah, much is definitely one of the words, yeah. So what about you, Isaac? What's your view on it? Would you say?
I've never really, unless it's like my uncle or my auntie. Like I say Auntie Lorraine, hi Auntie Lorraine. Like, if it's not that, I don't say like to any person like, hi auntie or uncle, like how
actually.
Or like
we never brought the kids up
like
to do
hi
that.
sister or brother something. I don't really say that.
Unless it's your sister.
Unless it's my sister.
Exactly, it's true.
But even then, I don't really. I know it's my sister, but I don't. I just call her Bella. I didn't really say like
Sister Bella.
Yeah, hi Sister Bella. I always just call them by their first names. Yeah. To be honest, unless Mummy told.
Like, and we're cool. Are you cool with that? Because I'm cool with. I think I'm cool with that.
You told me to say hi. Sister, such, unless you told me to do that, but me, I just never really told you that.
But back in the day when they were younger, because of my upbringing, I had this little tendency, I think, to kind of get Isaac to say, "Oh, uncle, whoever," when they weren't an uncle. Yeah. But I don't think I liked it, or we spoke about it.
Yeah,
or something. I can't remember
some people we said they're not worthy of the title, not in a mean way. But then the thing is that they've got the uncles and aunties in their lives, and they've got other people in their lives that are very close to them, almost like an uncle and aunt. So those people, cool. But then there's some people that we may in the past have said uncle or auntie, but you haven't seen them for decades, and it's not a disrespectful thing, but I just think that sometimes we force these labels on people, and it's like, actually, not force them, but sometimes it's kind of, you feel that pressure or obligation to say, address them by that name. And really, it's not necessarily necessary unless, for example, like I agree, to say Mr. Such and Such or Mrs. Such and Such to some of the older generation, unless they've given you their first name. So what are your thoughts, guys?
And Bella.
Oh, Bella, boom, of course, Pudding.
Me and Isaac call our Nana.
That's right, exactly, Bella.
Not like the real name.
That's true, exactly. You call her Nana because she's your Nana, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's it. That's a lovely contribution, Bella. She's so adorable.
She is.
I'm so sorry that I didn't even ask your opinion on this one, because you're involved just as much as everyone else. And you can see she's following on with the conversation because she heard the bits, about how we address people, and she knew exactly what we were talking about. Good girl, Bella.
So the next one is, we're reading an article, and basically in a pub in England, there was someone who worked there, or I think it was the owner, that said that they were more willing to serve pets first in the restaurant rather than humans.
Oh, wow.
And it made me think, wow, there's really people in the world who love animals more than humans, which I find really weird.
Yeah.
Myself.
Strange.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to have a child as a dog.
You don't want a dog as a child?
Yeah, and also like, you can have bonds with animals, don't know what I mean? Some people have like really strong bonds with animals, but with humans are...
Humans?
Humans are humans.
Yeah,
like, I would find it weird for someone to love their dog more than their friend. I don't know, unless it's like...
Some people do though, Isaac.
Unless it's not their close friend, and they have a strong relationship with their dog, but every time they serve a cat or something more than a person. Like, just...
That sounds a bit...
Why do they even give cats... in a restaurant, why do they even give cats food in the restaurant?
Stuff.
I mean,
Because they're hungry.
true.
Just the
but,
same as you.
I've never saw like on a menu you have like
It's
the
because
cat
cats
menu.
are animals.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
like on menus, I've never seen like something be called the cat menu. and then you have cat spaghetti bolognese. Or something. I don't know. I just humans are. You can get a stronger bond with them than an animal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But what I was going to say, just one point that I wanted to make was when you said that a dog as a child, for some people, they may want to have children, or some people don't want to have children, but then they have a pet instead. So some people want to have children, but then for whatever reason they're unable to, so they'll have a few pets as company at home.
Children can be time consuming, but like, do you know what I mean though?
I know what you mean, but pets can be as well, believe you me,
yeah.
scooping up the poo, even when because with a child, my friend said to me that with a child, at least once they're a child, they can use the toilet after a certain age, but with a pet, you will scoop that poo up for the rest of their life.
And
that's very different, isn't it?
But the thing is still, like, I still think, even if it's not that, animals are... They're amazing. I want to have a pet dog for real.
You do, I always want a dog.
But still, like, I would prefer to maybe, like, I don't know, like, get a person.
Get a person.
Buy a person.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Sort of.
So you'd rather have you regard humans as more important than animals, basically.
Me too. I think how I imagine it, people who like pets more would be like, if there's like a human and a pet, or a human and an animal crossing the road, and there's a car coming, and they can only save one.
I thought about this as well when I was upstairs.
Yeah, they can only save one, either the animal or the human. I feel like these people might struggle. They think, who do I rescue?
Yes.
Whereas for me, I think it's easy. I think just save the person.
Simple.
But even if you think like some people you might not like or are unlikable, let's say like there's a murderer and an animal.
Wow, that's extreme.
I still think I'd save the murderer.
Depends who they murdered.
Good point. But
it's easy for you. It's easy to say that.
No, but I'd like to think
murdered a member of your family.
Yeah. But I'd like to, and that's where I
God
guess
forbid.
Forgiveness comes and things.
Of course,
it's not an easy
I was going to
thing.
say that. Yeah.
But I'd like to think that I would find that decision easy and rescue the human.
So help me God. Yeah.
And cats, they don't want you to go for a walk, but dogs kind of sometimes do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, dogs, you have to take them for walks.
Yeah.
Because dogs aren't, they don't necessarily come back.
Yeah.
Whereas cats, you've
They
got
just
cats
lie
that go around and
all day.
roam around. Yeah, you're the ones that lie around, and then they come back home, and then they go out again and what have you. So yeah, they're a bit more independent in that respect, Bella. That's a good point.
To all the animal lovers out there, do you see your pets or other animals, on par or on the same level as humans, or maybe do you prefer them to humans? It'd be good to know your thoughts. Comment down below. Yeah,
because we're the same species, and I think that's, for me, is what is really important to me. So I do love animals. I'm not the biggest animal lover, but I do love animals. I had a dog, and I absolutely loved him to pieces. He was part of the family, 100%. So I do love animals, but then for me, I would never regard him, like there'll be no contest if there was somebody, as you said, that needed saving, like there would be no contest. It would really hurt you, but as a human being, I couldn't not save that person. And
even if it's...
But then when it's my pet, oh gosh, when it's your pet, it's like you'd want to drag them both, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But
then it'd be sad.
You have to wipe off the poo.
Yeah, because they've been talking about this, because I said to them, you can have a dog when you're willing to pick the poo up.
But the thing is, like, if you prefer animals more than humans, you're a human also. You know what I mean? So you need to think, like, I love my animal?
Yeah.
It might be a bit deep, but do I love my animal more than myself?
Yeah.
Because you are a human.
Exactly, that's right, it's true. That is true.
And the other thing is, there's different levels of animal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, like a dog, I see a dog differently to an ant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd be
Yeah,
gutted.
true.
I'd be gutted if someone chose to save an ant over me.
Oh gosh.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know if anybody. I
Would
don't
do
know.
that.
If any, there couldn't be like.
But then how do animal lovers rank animals?
Yeah, that is true.
I
Like
think insects.
a rat.
I think
a
insects.
Rat, a rat is an animal.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's an insect. I see as a different category.
I would hate for someone to literally just pick a rat,
Yeah,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like pick a person.
yeah,
Or
that's
not.
it.
Like a
Yeah.
mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, even on the basic level of like, you know, as much as I love my dog, I would never share a plate of food with him. Whereas for another human being, I would. Not all, but you know, I think
like
overall
not
you
all
would.
the
You know what I mean?
food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I think that even on that level, it just shows there's a difference between an animal and a human being. These are all our opinions, guys.
This
So
is our
please comment
opinion.
down below. Let us know what your thoughts are
Yeah.
as well, because you know we're just kind of having a discussion here, conversation, and kind of working through it all. We might not necessarily have the conclusion, and that's not what we're trying to achieve. We're just having a conversation and opening it up to
Speaking
you
our
guys.
minds.
Yeah.
Speaking our minds. That's it. Okay, so that is the very end of our discussion. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please don't forget to give it a big
Thumbs up.
okay, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already, and don't forget to hit that bell so you do not miss another video.
And if you have any questions or topics
Please,
you'd
yes.
like us to discuss on the next one,
Yep,
please let us know.
absolutely. Comment down below. We'll see you in the comment section. And
Take
until
care.
next time,
Bye.
peace out.